Hello, Dylan here, and I decided to do a little video series that I like to call my favorite anime characters. That's basically, which is pretty much self-explanatory, talking about there'll be three different categories. There'll be the waifu of the anime series, the best boy, and then the overall character. And it could be either of those two, or it can be a completely different character. So, and for this first one, I'm going to be doing Black Clover. There are a lot of characters and side characters that are in this show, but the main characters that I've been focused on most of the time has been the Black Bulls and a few other characters in the other Magic Knight groups. I forgot what they're officially called. But I think, yeah. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and start with the waifu. And for this one, I chose Vanessa from the Black Bulls. I mean, there's there are plenty of reasons. One could be her assets, but another is that she's not of nobility. She's not, and she cares about her. I mean, a lot of people don't care about their friends, but there's also like the sad backstory, and also she does kind of like to party. That is interesting. But also, there's also her magic that was very interesting. Which, spoiler alert if you're not caught up, but she has the power to. She has thread magic. I don't know if that's the actual term, but it's like thread magic. But she also has a hidden ability of the thread of fate, which is in the form of a red cat made of the string of the thread. And whenever anyone that is like that is her friend or family or anything like that, the cat, if they end up dying or getting hurt, the cat will go over to them, jump on them, pounce on them in any way it can to just tap on them, touch them, and then it'll change fate to where they didn't get hurt or they didn't die. And that's just very interesting magic. Though I now find out that it is kind of taxing on her own personal magic, on her own magic amount of mana that she has, does deeply drastically the more she uses it in a fight. So yeah, the best waifu for me is Vanessa because of assets and a fate cat. Anyway, okay, on to the next one. Best boy. Now, of course, people will be thinking it could be like Magna, Luck, Finro. But most people would think that people go for like the stuff that's not like the two main characters. But I had to go with one of the two main characters. Is of course either Yuno or Asta. And I chose Yuno, not Asta, not the main, at least the main protagonist. Because, well, I've already read further into the manga, and there is stuff that has now been shown about Asta's power, and there's not much shown for Yuno except that he has a wind spirit with him, and that's pretty much it. But also he's like the polar opposite of Asta, but he has the same ideals as Asta of like nobility, shouldn't be like discriminating against the common folk and all that kind of stuff. He has the same ideals as Asta. They have the same goal in mind of each becoming the Wizard King. But Yuno probably has a better idea of when if whichever one becomes the Wizard King. Yuno will probably be the better option of putting things into effect and thinking about how something could work instead of just us always yelling at everything and just yelling at them to just do it. Yuno will probably have a different idea of trying to like. It's basically Yuno is the brain, Asta is the brawn, basically, of this two rivalry. So that's kind of why. Also, there's the sweet moment where it was in one of the recent episodes where Charmy gave him, what was it like? It's like a giant cupcake or something, and he complimented her and saying it's good, and it was just so adorable. Anyway, that is who I picked for best boy, Yuno. Now, for my overall, this one was a little different because this is just like an overall character that I will always enjoy seeing like on screen or all the time on the screen, whether it's male or female. So the overall character that I chose as my favorite character in Black Clover is Charmy, which I mentioned earlier, because of how comedic it can be for her, and of course that little crush she has on Yuno is pretty damn adorable. But it's also a fact, one, that she's like, well, I can't show how her height, but on here, right here, but she looks like she would be like in grade school, like in an elementary school. Yet she's one of the oldest ones or not the oldest one, but she says she's 18, 19, something like that. That she's a lot older than she looks, which is definitely an interesting aspect for her character because she acts like a child, but then there are moments also where she gets really serious in a fight. Most of the time, if it involves someone ruining her food, but still, she does have serious badass powers, magic, that does help them, and she also, not really a spoiler, but she is one of the key characters and later on, and helping Vanessa keep using her fate magic, her thread fate magic, because as I mentioned before, Vanessa's thread fate magic kind of depletes her mana quite quickly. I don't know if anything of that is really a spoiler, but Charmy really is one of my favorite characters. Every time, I'd always put a smile on my face whenever I see her on screen of Black Clover, because she is so adorable, and because she can be serious in a fight. There's like a switch in her. It goes from, it's like three versions of her, of adorable to the crush adorable with Yuno, and then there's the serious mode of her when someone either attacks her friends or attacks her food. and I kind of identify her with the food and friend part. Anyway, those are my three characters that I chose for this favorite anime characters video. If you want to see more, why not consider subscribing for some more otaku content? And I'll see you in my next video, possibly.